thought I'd do my video over on my Polyolefin Strike Indicator again. I've made a few changes, but thought maybe I could be more informative. So I start off by putting some thread on my tubing rod, and you see it's in a tubing holder. What I like to do is take my half hitch tool. I like to take my half hitch tool in. You'll notice I'm putting it on this side, the half hitch, because when I pull up my tag end, I'm going to cut it off. It keeps it locked in there. It doesn't unravel on me. Now I'm going to take a piece of polyolefin, and this is basically a macrame yarn. I'm using an older style. I want to just show you. It's approximately about 3 inches. I cut a piece off about 3 inches long, and tie about with an inch sticking out. And I'll do approximately about 20 turns. I'm going to close down or secure about a ½ inch of material, and I'm going to do my thread around it so it's pretty good. And then what I'm going to do is on each end I put a half hitch. Do you have to do that? The answer is no, but I put one here, and I take my thread and wind it back towards this end. And then I put another half hitch in. I put 2 half hitches on this end because I'm going to cut it off. There's one. And there's 2. Now I'm going to trim it. Trim the thread, cut the thread off. I'm going to loosen up and take the rod out. Now with the rod out, I am going to just pull this small rod off. So I got the rod out, and I'm going to take and bend. See if I can do it all here in your view. Bend it so I match up the ends that I tied. They're pretty close. And then what I've done is I've taken a straw and cut little segments off of it. You can see a piece of the straw, and I'm going to slide this straw over top of my loop. Let the end stick out a little bit. Now I'm going to take another rod in my tubing tool. This is a bigger rod. This one here came from, basically it was a hanger from the cleaners. I cut it and I bent it. I'm going to have to move my camera on, as you can see, a right angle going up. This eliminated the parachute, so let me adjust my camera so we get that pretty much where we want it to have it. Okay. Now I'm going to take my little loop, put it over top, and as you can see, my little tubing or my straw is holding that on that rod. And I take my thread, get an amount secured in my left hand, and then I'm going to put about, I'm going to say 12 turns to make the loop for the leader to go through. I'm going to pull it up, take my tag end off. And then I'm going to go around a few more times. If that tag end's a little loose, it's going to lock down with that thread. Now I'm going to take and put 4 half hitches in. 1, 2, 3, 4. Get my half hitches in. trim off my thread. Now I'm going to remove the rod and take my straw piece off. And at this time I'm going to brush out. Brush it all out. So I got it brushed out. Now I'm going to trim it down to the length that I think that I would like. So I'll put all of that together. Come over to my wastebasket. Trim that off. It's really nice now. And now I'm going to take some of my flex cement. And I put a good drop on it. See if I can, you can see it here. I'll put some here on the top. Some here. I'll make sure I got those threads covered really good. The flex cement soaks in, and the xylene, which the way I make it, comes off. But as you can see, it's nice and soaked in there. I got the threads really soaking. And now what I do is I take another rod from this hanger that I got from the cleaners, and I'm going to pull this off my rod that I work with. You see you got a nice little hole there for the lead to go through. I'm going to put it on this rod and let them dry. Now I've also, let's see if I can show you this. Let's put this rod back in. I'm going to have to adjust my camera down. Maybe a little bit more. Now I put, sometimes I put a flash in there. I use like Madeira thread. So to start with, I'm going to, again, just like I said, take my tubing tool and put some thread on the rod. Come back. Put a half hitch in. Pull up my tag end and cut it off. Now I'm going to put a piece of Madeira thread in. I put basically 2 pieces. I cut them about 3 inches. Maybe it should be a little bit longer, but I'm going to tie each end in. So I'm going to tie this, start it down, and I'm going to go about the ½ inch down like I would have when I go to tie this off. So I've got approximately a ½ inch of it tied down, and bring it back easy. You don't want to, as I come all the way back. Now I take about 3 inches of my yarn, the macrame yarn, the polyolefin, and take about 1 inch of it sticking out. And I'm going to wrap this around. And then come down, like I said, I think it's 20, 22, depending on your thread and how wide you have it apart. So I'm going to come down about a ½ inch, and just to see if you guys see how close we are. Yeah, that's about a ½ inch. And then I'm going to take one more piece of that yarn and secure that down on my way back. This is going to add a little flash for the fisherman. Sometimes, you know, with the sun, maybe you'll see your indicator pretty well, but a little flash off of it wouldn't hurt. So now that I have it back here, and I'm going to bring it to the other end, I'm going to put a ½ inch in, like I did prior, but now as you see I've got other materials tied into this thing. And I'm going to come on back to here, and I'm going to put 2 ½ hitches in. One. There's two. Trim off my thread. Then I'm going to take this rod out, and I'm going to pull off this material. And I have the material off the rod. Again, I'm going to bend it to make that little loop. A little harder with the camera right in my way, but that's okay. You can see it. Now I got my little loop. I'm going to put my piece of straw over top of it. Push it through so that that loop part is sticking out a little bit. Now you can see it. And I'm going to put my bigger rod in. Let me adjust my camera again. And I'm going to put my strike indicator over, push up the tubing. As you can see, the straw is holding it in place. And now get my thread. And I don't want to get off. And I just hold everything as I wrap this thread around. And I haven't counted, but I say it's probably 10, 12, maybe 15 turns to where it sort of gets everything smoothed out. I pull up my tag end, cut it off, wrap it a few more times. Then I'm going to take and do 1, 2, 3, 4 half hitches. Trim my thread. Remove my rod out of there. Pull off my, I don't have to pull, I pull off my straw piece. And now I'm going to brush out everything. It's got, as you can see, it's got the Madeira thread, it's got the other yarn, and we're going to brush it out real good, which will separate the Madeira and threads and sort of mingle among the other yarn, pretty much so. But again, I'm going to get it to where I think I like it length, and I'm going to trim it. Okay, I got it trimmed. I'm going to come back here, take my flex cement. You see I'm putting a bunch on there. It soaks right into those threads, and the glue will keep everything in place. So I got it on here. I'm going to take it off my working rod. And put it on my drying rod. I want to just show you, you can see the flash in there. You know, it may make a difference. When you're fishing, you just catch a little flash. You can't see your indicator, but something I thought I'd try. And that's it. Thanks for watching.